Hello Java students. In today's video we are going to talk about how to set up your Mac to be able to do cloning from GitHub. So there are a few steps that we need to take in order to get ourselves there. The first thing that we need to do is open up our terminal. So I'm going to use Spotlight Search by hitting Command and then the space bar, which brings up my Spotlight Search. And I'm going to type the word terminal. Some of you might already have this in your bottom toolbar, but in case you don't, we're going to Spotlight Search it. It looks like this black screen with that triangle curly brace. We're going to go ahead and hit enter and open up that terminal. So I'm using my sister's computer here to give you an example. So the first thing you want to do is double check that we don't already have Git installed on our computer. So to do that, we're literally going to type the word Git and hit enter. It's going to tell you that you don't have anything installed, and it might give you an option to install. I'm going to go ahead and say not now in case you don't see that option, and I'll show you the other way that we're going to end up installing that GitHub instead. So I'm going to say not now in case that didn't pop up. If this popped up and showed you a whole laundry list of terms and words and phrases, that likely means that Git is already installed on your computer and you're ready to move on to the next step. So you can bear with me or skip forward in the video. If you type that in and you got this same idea of there were no developer tools found, then we are going to need to install it. So if you didn't get that pop-up and have the option to click install, the thing that we need to type now is we're going to type the word Xcode, then dash, select, then hit a space. We're going to use 2 dashes and then type the word install. So this is basically our way of hard coding and telling the computer, hey, install this thing, in case that pop-up didn't show up for us. So now you will see this pop up for sure because it's saying this install is being requested. So we're going to go ahead and click install and we will agree to the terms. And we're going to go ahead and continue on battery power if your computer gives you lip about that idea. And hopefully this will say something. It might start off by telling you it's going to take hours on end. It did on my computer originally, but then it should in the end be, a minute or less to download. So now we'll just wait it out. Alright, and now that the software has been installed, we're going to go ahead and say done. The next thing that we want to just double check is we're going to say which Git on our terminal, which will let us know where Git lives on our computer. And then we are good to go ahead and open up IntelliJ. So now we're going to switch over and open up IntelliJ. Okay, so we're going to open up IntelliJ and you're going to click on any project that you already have and open it up. I made one called GitHub example. It's got nothing inside of it. An empty class for the moment. So what you're going to do now is on your keyboard, you're going to hit Shift twice in a row. So we're going to hit Shift, Shift, and you will see this idea pop up. And now what we are going to type is the word Git path. And what we are doing is double checking that IntelliJ has this Git path. Because this is the first time, we probably have to do something where we enable version control integration. So we're going to go ahead and enable that and choose the project root to be Git and say OK. It will now have said something along the bottom that it has created a Git repository for you in this moment, which is great. And now things are showing up in red, which is letting you know that they haven't been yet pushed onto GitHub, so that they are changes that you've made that aren't yet updated. But that's okay, we don't really need to update anything that we're doing with right here. Again, we want to go double check that path. So now that we've done that enabling, we're going to Shift Shift again. When we type Git path, now you'll see path to Git executable, and that's going into preferences and then Git. So we're going to click on that and it'll open up your preferences. It'll show a Git option and we are looking at this path to Git executable. What you want to do is, well, first we want to double check that that matches what it used to say inside of our terminal when we would type the word which Git. And it does in fact match. User bin Git, those two ideas match. The other thing that you want to do is double check and test that path. I didn't want to accidentally click that. We tested it. It's telling me that Git is at a current version. So we have tested and it is working and connected to GitHub in the way that we want it to. So we're going to say OK. We're going to go back to there. Now we're at the process of everything is installed and ready to go. So what we need to do now is simply make the project. Clone that project from Mr. Dobovich's repository. There are multiple ways to do this. The way that we are going to do that is by making a new project, and that is going to be, so we're going to say File, New, Project from Version Control, and now we're going to type in a URL. There are possible URLs that Mr. Dobrovich has already given you to use for this specific example, but I'm going to use one of his random ones that he's given me ahead of time. So we're going to say github.com/ddobrovich, and the one that I'm going to use is called Kaboom. So I'm going to type out this whole path. Some of the times there's a button over here on the side to say test, so you can test that URL. I'm going to leave it as is, and if you notice, it's creating a directory inside of my idea projects folder as well, so of where this will save once I clone it. And then I'm going to click the button that says clone. You will see at the bottom that this is building a new project for me. I'm going to say I'm opening it in a new window. A new window will pop up, and now you will see the entirety of the project that already existed on GitHub from Mr. Dobrovich, which is not much, but it's got this README file inside of it, and I've pulled that from him, and I can go inside the source folder and find all of the potential classes or things that I might need. And there we go. That is all. If you run into any issues, contact Mr. Dobrovich and let him know.